Well, Chad, it's been about 2.5 years since we got a chance to watch the fight. So what's the emotion like getting back into fight week and being a couple days out? What's it feel like for you?
It feels good, man. I feel great. This is probably the best I've ever felt fight week. You know, we've switched up a little bit of training, just added a little more science as far as like following heart rate and recovery, and we went and did a bunch of VO2 max testing and kept up through the camp, and never really paid attention to any of that type of stuff before. It was basically just balls to the wall all the time, you know, 2-3 workouts a day every day. So it was cool just seeing the peaks and valleys through camp, and just making sure no injuries happened, and we were peaking at the right time. And I feel really good. I really kind of nerded out with it and just, you know, got my whole training camp drawn up ahead of time and stuck to things, followed everything to a T. Been following my diet a lot better. And just feeling good, man. Weight's on point. Actually was the heaviest I've ever been right in the beginning of this training camp. Getting the dad bod, and I'm not even a dad yet. So I just had to really lean out a little bit, and it's been good though, man. I'm feeling great, feeling excited. I got that hunger back. I feel like almost rejuvenated. My body feels good. The bumps and bruises, you know, probably the last 4 years, like getting out of bed in the morning, my feet were just so bruised and beat up from kicking and getting stepped on and stubbing your toes during practice, and it's just nice. Everything feels back to normal, and I'm ready to go.
I was going to ask you what the last couple of years were like for you, because I know you had said you were going to take some time off anyway, right? So that wasn't necessarily maybe the worst thing, but I mean, were you following the sport? Were you training, you know, intensely, actively, or did you totally walk away from it for a while?
No, there was a little bit where I stepped away. You know, I started my business, Fins and Feathers, and really just kind of poured my heart and soul into it for about a year. I was still training and keeping in shape, but you know, probably about 4 or 5 months of it, I just completely shut off from the UFC, just turned my brain off, you know, and just wanted to step away from it for a little bit. And I think it was good, man. It gave me the drive to want to get back in here and compete again. You know, I've been training and competing since I was really 4 years old. I started swimming first, then jumped right into wrestling from 5 years old, wrestled every single year all the way up through college. Day after graduated, jumped into pro practice with Team Alpha Male, and you know, I've just never taken a year off. So it was great to just kind of step away from it for a little bit and focus on me, you know, my family, you know, the business, getting it started, and just kind of unplugging from it for a little bit. But you know, I think probably the last year and a half, I've just been so hungry to get back in here and compete, you know, and for me, I think having that is one of my best tools. It definitely makes me the most dangerous when I'm wanting to get in here and compete and push myself, and not just going through the motions, and having that drive to get in there and whoop someone up. So it's back, man. I'm excited. I can't wait.
You have any regrets for how everything went down? I mean, you said, you know, psoriasis cream, but you're like, whatever. I mean, I'll just take my 2 years. Do you wish you would have fought a little more vehemently against it?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, it was my own damn fault. I should have paid attention. So, you know, I did the time. I'm not going to sit there and make up a bunch of excuses and try to get out of it. But, you know, it was my own fault. I messed up. But, you know, I kind of wish now I would have maybe stepped up, maybe got like a year. I wanted to take a year off anyways. I had already told the UFC that, you know, I'm just going to let my head heal up after those last 2 fights. And, you know, when they told me 2 years, at that time I was frustrated. You know, I was embarrassed and was just like, screw it. I'm not, you know, I'll do my time. I just want to step away from all this. And, about halfway through it, I was like, I wish I would have tried to fight a little bit, but I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, I think that time off was very, very good for me, and hopefully this all translates over into the octagon on Saturday and we get that W. So I'm feeling good, like I said, and that motivation there is, I think, going to be key.
Last thing on this, I want to ask, what do you feel about USADA at this point? I mean, knowing that you had to have the wrath, because I hear some people saying, man, maybe this is more than we all signed up for. You know, maybe we went a little too far. What do you think? I mean, is USADA the right solution for the UFC, or does something need to change? What do you feel?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I have positive and negative feelings about USADA. I mean, obviously the positives, I think it's great, you know, keeping just completely blatant cheating stuff out of the sport. A lot of that stuff was getting, you know, overlooked and getting through. You know, I think there's some petty stuff that we could probably fine tune. You know, in my opinion, the tainted supplements, even like you guys were just talking about. I mean, there's no way for us to know that. Like, if we read the label, if I go to a store and I buy, say, amino acids, like I'm planning on taking amino acids, which are 100% legal. You know, there's no way for me to know if there's something illegal in there, and if there's something that a company tried to sneak in there to make their product sell better by people saying, oh man, I feel great when I take this, I'm looking good, you know. Like, how is that our fault? Like, we get banned still because of that. Like, if there's a way to prove that, maybe we could, you know, maybe figure out a testing system to where, okay, maybe a month later it's out of your system, so there's no benefit from you taking that. And once it's out of your system, then you're good to go. But, you know, I think 6 months, sometimes a year, whatever it is, like, it's pretty harsh in my opinion for something like that. I think there are certain things like that can be fine-tuned, you know, and all in all, though, I think there definitely needs to be something, but maybe USADA is or isn't the answer. I don't know. I'm not the one to say it, but I do think there's some things that can be fixed. All
right, so I appreciate that. Now that you're back to competition, well, they throw you right in there, right? I mean, Miles Jury's no joke. So I wonder, when the matchup was announced, I mean, sure, it makes sense. You're a perennial contender, but was there any part of you that was like, how about a little warm-up fight or something? Let me get my timing back down.
No, I mean, I think this is a perfect fight for me to get back into. I mean, Miles obviously is a tough guy, but everybody in the division now is a tough guy. I mean, I don't think, it's not like I look at the lineup and say, okay, that guy's a little bit easier than that guy. Like, everybody's tough, you know? Everybody has their super strength. Everyone has maybe their weakness or maybe not, you know? But, you know, everybody is tough. And for me to get back there and fight a guy like Miles, who, you know, is a guy that is all right going into my world. He's okay wrestling. You know, he trains with Cruz and those guys, so I'm sure they wrestle a lot. He's okay being on his back. He's solid with jits, but he's a counter striker. He likes keeping the pace low, which is perfect. I'm going to try to keep that pace as high as I can. I'm going to put the pressure on him. I'm going to, you know, when I throw something, I'm going to throw it to make it hurt. You know, and like I said, hopefully that all translates into something positive and we get the W. But I know what I can and can't do. We've put together a solid game plan, and I think as long as I stick to it and implement it in the fight the entire time, I get the W. So.
Are you starting to think about announcing yourself as a contender right away again? I mean, it's kind of interesting, right? In 2 years away, we've got some new names at the top. It's kind of, in some ways, I guess it might even be better, right? Because you got some fresh blood up there.
Yeah, of course, you know, and I'm treating this like it's the biggest fight of my life, you know, and it is. You know, this is a fight that I need to go out there and prove to people, like, I'm back, like, I didn't leave. You know, I took a little bit of time off, but I'm still an animal. I'm still going to go out there and try to knock your head off. You know, I can take you down when I want. And put that pressure on you. You know, that's the type of Chad that I want people to remember and see back in the octagon now and be like, shit, this guy never left. So, you know, that's the plan. I'm going to go out there and try to do that. And if I get that win, which hopefully I do, you know, I would like to fight someone in the top 5 right off the bat. I mean, ultimately that's up to the UFC. You know, we got some guys, Darren Elkins, who's on a killer win streak. We got, you know, Rick Glenn's also fighting there at featherweight now. Emmett is another guy that's now in the top. So, I mean, Team Alpha Male has definitely taken over the featherweight division. So we just got to kind of, you know, figure out where everyone's going to play in the division and who's going to fight who, and just take it from there.
I was going to say, I mean, not trying to square you guys up right away, but I mean, you guys got a lot of guys in division at the top. So what is the plan? I mean, do you guys have to all kind of like careful how you step around each other?
I think so. I mean, I think we just got to be strategic. I mean, there's no sense, in my opinion, and I think these guys will probably say the same thing, but there's no need for us to fight each other if it's not for a belt. I mean, it's just us knocking each other out of the lineup, you know, and if it was for a belt, you know, I think everybody probably has the same mindset. May the best man win, you know. We all love each other. We'll shake each other's hand, go have a beer after, but you know, we just got to be, you know, strategic, I think, on where everybody plays out. So we'll see how it goes. Everyone just got to keep doing what they do. Everyone keeps getting those W's, and I think it'll all work out in the end.
Well, you've been at the top for a long time. Obviously, a big win here would do it. What's the goal for you on Saturday? I mean, is this to go back in there and prove something to yourself, or to be comfortable in there again? Is it to prove something to the world? I mean, what do you want to accomplish on Saturday?
I think it's a mix of things. You know, like I said, proving to the world that I'm right back in there. Proving to myself that I'm still here and I can still compete with all these guys just like I did before. But also just getting in there and doing what I love, being able to compete, you know. Like I said, I trained my butt off, probably harder and smarter than I ever have in any camp. And just being able to put that all to the test against a tough opponent like Miles, I think is going to be something mental for me. So, you know, win or lose, this is, like I said, something I absolutely love to do. And I wouldn't trade this for anything in the world. So hopefully we get out there and get it done.